books, more books. I wanted my collection to look the same. I wanted a cohesive collection. I did not want any chaos on my bookshelves, okay? Look at these baby people fighting a gigantic war. Hi everyone, my name is Leah and this is an ode to fiction. Welcome back to my channel. It is the month of June and everything is kind of hot, kind of cold. I was exposed to COVID, now here I am. We're doing good. Okay, so today I am back with you all to share a little bit of an update to my collection of books, because today's video will be a book haul. Today's book haul will be all the books that I bought or received or gifted in the month of April to May to early June. There's a lot of books that I received throughout these past 2 months, and I wanted to show y'all everything that I got. Let's move on to the first pile, which is all the books that I bought. If you saw my Toronto vlog, I bought 3 books, and the one that I bought from Baka Phoenix bookstore is the first book to the Locklands Trilogy, which is Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett, and then the second one is the City of Stairs. This is the Divine Cities trilogy, also by Robert Jackson Bennett. I've always wanted to read something by Robert Jackson Bennett, so I'm so glad that I saw these 2 copies at the store. I'm gonna read the blurb for City of Stairs. The city of Bulikov once wielded the powers of the gods to conquer the world, enslaving and brutalizing millions until its divine protectors were killed. Now Bulikov's history has been censored and erased, its citizens subjugated, but the surreal landscape of the city itself forever altered by the thousands of miracles its guardians once worked upon it, stands as a haunting reminder of its former supremacy. A tale of vast conspiracies, dead gods, and buried history, City of Stairs is at once a gripping spy novel and a stunningly original work of fantasy. Judging from the blurb, I'm kind of digging this premise. Maybe I'll pick it up soon or later. I don't know. This one has caught a lot of attention back when I was starting to read adult fantasy, and it's one of the books that I won in the giveaway on Kindle, so I'm pretty excited to know about this story. And I think a few of my friends also told me that it's really good. And the third book is coming out in August or September. June. It's coming out in June, so it would be a great time to binge this series. So yeah, very excited for Robert Jackson Bennett. I went to Indigo's during my trip to Toronto, and I picked up a romance that I was anticipating for a while now, because I read this author series, and it is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So I read Beach Read first, did not like it. Honestly, did not like it. And then I read People We Meet on Vacation. Totally loved it because it reminded me of Love, Rosie. I'm very hyped for this one. I don't know much about it but I know that my friends love it, and I like to keep it that way. I don't want to know anything about this book, and I'm just so hyped to pick it up. So next is another book that I bought. I bought this online, and it is The Bitter Twins, and this is the second book to the Winnowing Flames trilogy by Jen Williams. I have the first and second book. I read the first book, The Ninth Reign, totally loved it back in January, and I did have the second book in Indonesia. I bought it, but the copy was too big. It was the size of like a large print. It was too big. It was not the same size as the first and third book that I bought. So I ditched the copy for the second book, and I bought this one. I wanted my collection to look the same. I wanted a cohesive collection. I did not want any chaos on my bookshelves, okay? Winnowing Flames trilogy is like a mix of sci-fi and fantasy, but it's more of a fantasy background, and the world is invaded by this alien god that came into the world, and there's like a race that fights off the aliens. It's just a weird book, and it is the type of weird that it's totally my brand. And if you hear a dog barking, yeah, that's Sparky. Yeah, that's Sparky. Yeah, he's 3, he's thriving. Yeah, and I think it's a thing in my videos where you hear like animals barking, meowing. Yeah, you don't hear Walter, you hear Sparky now. So, The Winnowing Flame. I am so excited to pick up The Bitter Twins because of how much I love the first book, even though you don't know what the F is going on, but you're still intrigued and you want to know what's gonna happen next. It's kind of like that drip feed fantasy. It's totally my brand. It likes to torture you with more questions. Next, it is a sequel. It is a sequel of one of the books on my display cart. The Fevered Star by Rebecca Rowan Horse. Let's be real. When Miss Rebecca did a cover reveal, I did not like this. What is this? Look, it's a head. It's an exploding head. This is my copy of Black Sun. She's beautiful. Now, what is this? The inconsistencies of this, it's just baffling. Like, I bought this because I love Miss Rebecca Rowan Horse, and I really wanted to read how the story continues, because Black Sun is one of those like fantasies that just makes you just like, ugh. Yeah, Black Sun is really good. I listened to it on audio and I finished it in like a day because it was so good, and like I love the writing. I don't know how to feel about Fevered Star because like I've read a lot of reviews from friends that also love Black Sun, and they have given like mixed reviews. Either you love it or you don't like it. So Black Sun is inspired by the civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas and woven into a tale of celestial prophecies, political intrigue, and forbidden magic. Reading Black Sun, I was kept at the edge of my seat the whole time. It is so good, and Rebecca's writing is just amazing. I love how original and vivid the world building is, and I like the magic, I like the political intrigue, I like the characters and their relationship. It's so full of drama. To be honest, even though I don't remember much from Black Sun because I was listening on audio, so I wasn't fully engrossed into the story as I was working while listening to the audiobook. I do not recommend, if you're working and you're listening to like an epic fantasy, it's not good because you probably don't pay attention. But yeah, I listened to it, I loved it, and then by the end of the book, the big battle scene at the end really kept me at the edge of my seat and got me intrigued in the whole story. Yeah, Fevered Star by Rebecca Rowan Horse. I don't like that it's inconsistent with the first cover, but I'm very, very excited about what will happen to Serafio because he's my baby. Let's start with a thrifted find that I found on Goodwill, and it is Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan. It is the volume 1 of the Rhyria Revelations. I don't know why, but the Goodwill here, they have some very good fantasy books. I keep finding like good books, but I'm so happy to find like a first book to a series because that means I could start this series and see how I like it or not. I don't know anything about this series, but I know like it has like a lot of people have raved about this series, and I got this for like $2 and it's a very good condition for a second-hand book. So when I feel like I want to start something new, a new fantasy series, maybe I'll pick this up. I'm gonna read the blurb. Royce Melbourne Roy Smellborn, a skilled thief, and his mercenary partner, Hadrian Blackwater, make a profitable living carrying out dangerous assignments for conspiring nobles until they are hired to pilfer a famed sword. And so begins a tale of treachery and adventure, sword fighting and magic, myth and legend. It sounds very interesting. So I'm very excited about this. Moving on to the next pile, it is my book outlet pile. I like to shop on Book Outlet because it got a lot of books on discount, and some of them, like, you have to be lucky with Book Outlet and you have to be fast. So the recent one that I bought is an omnibus, and it is the Tenserit series omnibus by Non Yang. I read the first book, and that is the Black Tides of Heaven. It is an LGBTQ fantasy because the characters are they are born non-binary, and then they choose their gender when they grow up. I really like this story when I first read it. I'm very excited to continue the whole series because with this omnibus, I don't need to buy like all the 4 books separately. I could just read it, continue on in one sitting. So this omnibus is so great. I really hope like all the novellas that I really like make omnibuses, because novellas are very, very expensive and they don't have the page count that is worth the money. So yeah, very excited about Non Yang. And look at this cover, it's just so beautiful. Love it. It's East Asian inspired, by the way, if you don't know from the cover. The next one is a middle grade. It is a middle grade that I read a long time ago. Totally loved it on audio, and it is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. I've always wanted to own a copy of Howl's Moving Castle, even though I like the Studio Ghibli version of the story. It wasn't as well written as the book, and it strayed a lot from the book. I like the book more, and I'm so excited to annotate this book and just underline my favorite quotes, because you can't do that on an audiobook. So yeah, I'm very excited. And this copy is like the copy that I want because I wanted the castle and the script. It's just awesome. It's also a good copy too. The next pile will be self-pub books that I bought on Amazon. With self-published books, you can only buy them on Amazon or from the author's website. And these 3 self-pub books are some of the books that are on my TBR, and one of them is actually a book that I've read before. The first one is the one that I've read before, and it is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. I'm so happy to have a copy now. I love this standalone book so much because it's so good. I gave it 5 stars. Oh, I'll just read the blurb. On a mountainside at the edge of the Kaigenese Empire live the most powerful fighters in the world, warriors capable of raising the sea and wielding blades of ice. For centuries, the fighters of the Kusanagi Peninsula have held the Empire's enemies at bay, earning their treacherous spit of land the name the Sword of Kaigen. Wow. When the winds of war reach their peninsula, will the Matsuda family have the strength to defend their empire, or will they tear each other apart before the true enemies ever reach their shores? The Sword of Kaigen is the SPFBO award winner of 2019, I think. It is one of the most famous self-published books that I've known, because this book has sunk its teeth in many corners of book Twitter, and a lot of my friends have read this book, and a lot of mutuals as well. It is one of the most highly rated self-published books I know, and when I read it, it's definitely hype. It is one of those books that is just so amazing, and I can't believe that it's self-published. M.L. Wang is a genius, and everyone should read this book, and the characters are just fantastic. Matsuda Misaki is fantasy's #1 MILF, next to Wen from the Greenbone Saga series. and like it's just amazing. If you haven't read The Sword of Kaigen, you should read it because it's just that good. Okay, next, the Dark Apprentice. It is Dark Apprentice, sorry, by Val Neal. It is the first book of the Fall of Magic series. I know the sequel is. I know Val Neal is currently writing the second book to their series. I'm gonna read the blurb. A psychopathic wizard, an immortal mage, an epic battle of wills. Nikolai doesn't want much out of life: sex, immortality, and the power to disembowel anyone who crosses him. But with dark magic forbidden, his only option is Medea, a mage so deadly even the enforcers give her a wide berth. Despite dire warnings that her apprentices don't survive, Nikolai won't stop until she agrees to train him. After all, he's a killer himself. What's more dead princess? This book, it feels like it will be a fun story. It will be a book that is powered by dynamics. So yeah, I'm very excited for this book, and I love the fact that it has no romance. It's just dynamics of a master and an apprentice. This book has also has this ability rep that the author has talked about, and I've seen like a lot of friends mention about it, so I'm very excited to read this. I'm ready to meet Medea and Nikolai. I want to see what they do. Are they gonna kill each other? I don't know. So yeah, Dark Apprentice by Val Neal. The next self-published book is a book that was so hyped up back in 2021. It is one of those like self-published book that just blew in the scene, and it is the Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. It is the first book to the Bound and the Broken series. I've read the novella, the prequel novella, that is The Fall. I love that novella, and I wanted to continue with the series. From reading the novella, it has the vibes of Stormlight Archives, and it has dragons, lots of dragons. There's elves too. It's more like a classic fantasy with a modern voice, a modern take to it. But it still has the classic fantasy vibes, kind of like Tolkien and stuff like that. I've never read Tolkien, but it does give the vibe of Lord of the Rings. Very excited to pick this one up. I have the ebook for this because the author graciously gave like an arc to me, and I'm so sorry that it's taking a lot of time to read his book. I could not read it on ebook, just saying. I just wanted a physical copy of the book because I have the arc for the sequel that is Of Darkness and Light that was graciously sent to me as well by the author, and I really want to get into this series. It's so thick, it's so chunky, and I think with the paperback version, I think it will help me read more besides ebooks. Lately I could not pick up any ebook, so this will be a great help to me. I want to point out that in this book there's also illustrations done by the author's brother, I think. It's so cool. Yeah, look at that. So I'm very excited to read this. That's my self-pub pile, so let's move on to my Orbit pile. I've been a fan of Orbit for a very, very, very long time. Some of my favorite books are published by Orbit, so I want to share y'all my arc pile. Okay, first one, it is an arc for, I think it was like a recently acquired self-pub book that is now published by Orbit, and it is Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. It's coming out in June, so it's coming out this month. I don't know much about this book, honestly. Let's read the blurb actually. It's difficult to find a husband in Regency England when you're a young lady with only half a soul. Ever since she was cursed by a fairy, Theodora Eddings has had no sense of fear or embarrassment, an unfortunate condition that leaves her prone to accidental scandal. Dora hopes to be quite sensible wallflower during the London season, but when Elias Wilder, the handsome, peculiar, and utterly ill-mannered Lord Sorcier, discovers her condition, she is instead drawn into dangerous fairy affairs. This sounds like a book that could be something that I like. A similar book that I think has the same vibe as this is probably like The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, which is like, it's set in a Regency setting. It has magic, so I'm very excited with this because there's fairy court drama incorporated in this, so I really want to know what's it. Thank you, Orbit, for sending me your arc. The next one, it is also an arc that I wasn't able to show in the previous book haul, and it is the Ballad of Perilous by Alex Jennings. This also comes out in June. Let's read the blurb. In a fantastical version of New Orleans, where music is magic, a battle for the city's soul brews between two young mages, a vengeful wraith, and one powerful song in this vibrant and imaginative debut. I like the New Orleans aesthetic. I've been trying to find writers that have that same charm as P. Jelly Clark. So when I read the blurb for the Ballad of Perilous Graves, I think this has the same vibe as I wanted that I find in P. Jelly Clark's works. It is urban fantasy. It is set in New Orleans. There will be jazz, there will be undead. So I'm very excited to know what the story is about and if it's good, if it's not. So I'm very happy that Orbit sent an arc for me. So yeah, if you're looking to read this book, it comes out on June 21st, 2022. So yeah, later this month. The next one is a duology. The second book is coming out on June 9th, 2022. The first book is For the Wolf by Hannah Whitten, and the second book is For the Throne. I'm very excited to read this one. This is the Wilderwood duology, and I think it is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, the first book was released last year, and I've seen a lot of blurbs from a lot of people that says that this book is very, very good. Some liked it, some not. Let's read the blurb together. His eyes arc away from her to the waiting Wilderwood beyond their ring of clear ground. I warned you before, Red, none of the stories here have happy endings. As the only second daughter born in centuries, Red has one purpose: to be sacrificed to the wolf in the Wilderwood, in the hope he'll return the world's captured gods. Red is almost relieved to go, plagued by dangerous powers she can't control. She knows that at least in the Wilderwood she can't hurt those she loves again. But the legends lie. The wolf is a man, not a monster. Her magic is a calling, not a curse, and if she doesn't learn how to use it, the monsters the gods have become will swallow the Wilderwood and her world whole. So yeah, I'm very excited. I think there's romance in this, so I wanted to know if I will like it or not. Thank you for Orbit for sending both first book and second book. I'm gonna binge this and we'll rank it and see how it goes. Next book is a first book to a new series, and it is The Bladed Faith by David Daglish. This book has one of the most epic covers ever. Look, I can't open it because I don't want to split the spine. Very excited to read. Let me read the blurb. Every shadow hides the truth. Every hero hides a lie. An usurped prince will take up the mantle of a deadly assassin to reclaim his kingdom, his people, and his slain gods in the explosive start to David Daglish new epic trilogy. So yeah, love assassins, love the cover, love a prince that wants to reclaim his kingdom. So very excited for this. I've read a lot of good things about this series, so I'm very interested because like, look at this cover, and it's blurred by Rob J. Hayes, the author for Never Die. Also a book that I've read, really loved it. So very excited for this. We're at the home stretch, the last one. It is a series that I read last year, totally loved, and it is the Bloodthorn Trilogy. Yeah, Orbit sent me the first book, The Shadow of the Gods. Look at this dragon. Look at this tiny man fighting the dragon. By John Gwynne. I forgot to mention his name. And this is the second book that was released, I think, in April. I haven't read it yet. It is The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne. Look at these tiny people fighting a gigantic wolf. The Bloodstone trilogy is a Norse-inspired fantasy. It follows a multi-POV of warriors. One of them is a mom that's trying to save her only baby from being blah blah blah. Censor, I'm not gonna say any more stuff. And the gods are awakening. They're about to destroy the world again because they were at war, and then they slain themselves to death, but one of them is making a comeback, and they're gonna slay it, I guess. Let's see how it goes. John Gwynne is one of those writers that does world building like a crazy man. He's so good, because I love the first book so much, because I love the concept of the gods that was slain, and then there's like these people that are kind of like the kids of the gods. So it's very, very epic. It's very, very bloody. It's very, very like fantastical. Come on. If you see like a gigantic wolf on a cover and a gigantic dragon on a cover, of course you're like tempted to buy it, right? Read John Gwynne. He's awesome. So yeah, everyone, that is my book haul. I need my coffee. I'm so happy to be able to share this pile with you. I'm pretty sure there's a few books that I'm missing because they haven't arrived yet, but I'll probably post those on my Twitter or Instagram or something. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're doing great. Stay hydrated. So yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, my friends. See you later, hearts. Bye bye.